Okay, let's see. Two. Only two places, I think. But all right. 1, 2, 3. Yes, we are live. Okay, cool. All right. All right. Let me do one more thing here, guys. Enable. There we go. Okay, cool. All right. So we're restreaming at least a couple places right now. So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today is April 23rd, 2024, and we are here for a weekly coherence meditation. So we do this every week at 6 p.m. Eastern. We restream to YouTube and Facebook, although there is one caveat that we just learned today is that we can, or I guess Meta or Facebook no longer allows restreaming to Facebook groups. So we're trying to figure out a workaround for that. So if you do hear this over in Facebook land, please head on over to either our YouTube channel, which we actually just created a link for on both of our Facebook groups to link over to YouTube. So either join us over on YouTube or join us here live via Zoom, where you will not experience probably about 20-second delay. So our main YouTube channel is the Cosmic Gaia Community channel, which is right there. And if you want to put your QR code reader on that, that'll take you directly over to that. This right over here will give you some other pertinent information, including our live Zoom link that you can join us, as well as a newsletter, which we're actually migrating over to a brand new website that Seth has online as of a week and a half ago, I think. Congratulations on that. That website is I'mAwakeNowWhat.com, right up there, guys, or SethLeaf.com, which kind of fixing something with the DNS on that. So some geeky stuff, guys. Anyways, and while you're over there at I'mAwakeNowWhat.com, do get that free ebook. Awesome. So, I mean, definitely grab that book. There is an option that you can get the book signed by Seth personally as well. You just pay the shipping fee of $7? I think it's $7, and that'll be right out to you. So please do head on over there, guys. And while you're over there on Facebook land or YouTube, please do subscribe, share, like this to all of your friends, family, anybody that you think would benefit from this format of our coherence meditations every week. About first 10 to 15 minutes, we'll have an intro and a brief discussion. And as we're going into our coherence meditation, or rather even coming out, if you want to continue on your own, you can easily just drop off the session and go and stay deep in your trance. Otherwise, we'll continue and we'll end the Zoom at that time. Anyways, so we do encourage everyone to do this on a daily basis as daily practice. Just take a little time out each day and do some inner work. Our recordings are also over at the Cosmic Gaia Community YouTube channel. So last week's title was Connecting with Source, and this week's title is Turning Solutions into Self-Mastery. So Seth, awesome to have you as usual. Your show, man, your show. So off to you, and thank you everyone for attending. And you know, I was reflecting on this in the last week or so. There was something that you put out in our Signal group chat, Seth. I think was it last week? You're like, well, you know, this is like my purpose in life. This is why I'm here. You created that book. You had this extraordinary experience. I shouldn't say really extraordinary in jail or anything in prison, you know, but it's just like, you know, you come out, and I've met you now, I mean, many years ago. Okay. And it was just last year that we started up this coherence meditation. And, you know, guys, like we did it on just a whim. We're just going with the flow. You know, I'm no master at it. Seth, you know, was developing his master abilities, I'll say, right?
Yeah.
You know, but we're just playing it by ear. We're going with the flow. So, you know, it's definitely helped me, myself in working in the inner work myself, past umpteen years. as I've really kind of become a little bit more spiritual in the past, 10, 12, maybe even longer. But I'm so happy to have met up with Seth. So that book, I'll be honest, I didn't read it start to front to back yet. So I'm still working on that, but I'm glad I got that ebook and just downloaded that the other day. So thank you for providing that to the community.
Yeah, you're
So,
welcome.
but guys, yeah, please join us over here. We do this every single week, and Seth has actually heard some pretty profound experiences from other people. So,
Super grateful for that too. Yeah. Well, thank you for all that, Greg. As always, I appreciate it. Even with you, like you were kind of saying, I didn't plan on seeking somebody out. It just kind of like worked. And it's funny you started doing introductions like that. I didn't even know you were going to do it. And I say that like in the most humble way because I didn't know you were going to do it. You did it. And I was like, wow, that actually worked. It worked great, and here we are a year later. I'm just going with it. So, and thank you for mentioning everything that you did with everybody here because it's true. I never made a plan to do this. I never went to any kind of school or certification or anything like that. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I just went through the school of life. I got schooled. I went through things that, gosh, if I revisit the state of mind or the state of being that I was in during those really dark times, I thought it was over. Literally thought it was over because there were moments so intense that every breath I would inhale and exhale was filled with this stressful feeling of like, and so you're in a stress pattern and then you keep focusing on it without intending to, but you just keep focusing on it because it consists the bulk of the majority of what we're feeling and what we're going through. And if we are not conscious that feeling stress is normal, but becoming addicted to the feeling of stress is lethal, you could say. If somebody stays in those downtrodden beliefs of stress, pain, chaos, death, fire, destruction, like it's real, like it's all that's real, these beautiful bodies begin to break down because we are flooding our body with stress. And yeah, there's times when it definitely needs to be there. But how about when nothing like really severely painful or wrong is happening? Most people live in a low to mid to high grade state of upset, state of stress. It's become normalized. And so here we are in Western civilization that's now colonizing itself all over this planet. And what is it fed by? Consumerism. What is that? What is it about everything that's happening that is the most common denominator? What would you say, Greg?
repeat that question.
So,
Couple
what is
different things.
one consistent thing that keeps society running and people a part of it? That's more what I'm to say. What keeps people supporting a world that is really unhealthy for the planet and us?
Well,
What
I mean, it's funny you mentioned that because I was also thinking kind of the same thing, but a little bit in reverse. Okay. So I was thinking what actually distracts us. Okay. So there are so many things that are distracting us right now that I guess, if you want to call them the elites, the Illuminati, the powers that
the
be,
owners of the
whatever, the
world,
government, but they're they're trying to separate us for one, but they're also trying to tell us or distract us from who we really are inside. I mean, their agendas are just being spewed out everywhere, and people are just they're grabbing at it. They're grabbing at it and they're just going with the flow. It's like the herd mentality. So they're going with the flow. They're um in big herds, just following each other, and they're just even essentially creating or adding to all this separation, um,
Even before
following in
that,
the narratives.
let me ask you, so even before separation, what creates separation? Like if there's no us and them, if there's no separation, what is the common denominating factor that causes us to lose faith and become self-righteous and think that we know better than anybody or anything? There's one element. I want to see if you got it.
I mean, I'm thinking
Stress.
immediately
It's
like
stress.
the what? I'm sorry. I'm thinking
Stress.
the
It's all stress, right?
okay.
People become afraid because when you're stressed out, you're worried. You are literally taking this miraculous life force that we all are and that everything is. And because we don't know or we don't remember the true nature of it, we feed into these big personal and societal and collective streams of stress. Because when we're in a mode of stress, we are attracting more stress. And if you're not conscious that you're doing that, because our bodies are energy, they are literally hydroelectromagnetic fabric of reality that is miraculous in its origins. And we all are that. But if we don't know that, we follow the leader, right? And we buy all the drugs and we buy all this consumer stuff and we drink food, water that's tap water, and we eat food that's been, whatever. Stress. It all starts with stress. And so that takes just stepping back a little bit and realizing that for a little while, maybe you and I temporarily started feeding these systems of the world that are very destructive. And if we were not stressed out, we would have different values. But because we're stressed, we're always reaching for all the things, the social norms. But if we didn't have stress, what would that look and be like?
That was a
I'm
question.
asking that for everybody here. Yeah, consider. What would you say, Greg? I want to hear your.
Well, by the way, I was actually leaning towards the stuff stress, but I was leaning towards like the collective, the collective consciousness. So, yeah, if we didn't have that and we were all cohesive, we were all, um, um, very cohesive, and we worked in tandem with each other, that would be the collective, um, to create and manifest our own realities together.
It's kind of exactly like that picture behind you, right? It's a pristine environment. All the different elements are present: water, rock, wind, air, sun, fire. All the elements are in that. And as the picture would suggest, it's an ecosystem and it's in tune with itself. And there we are, that one sitting in the middle of it on that rock, surrounded by the water, breathing air and feeling the sun. When we are in tune with reality, meaning this life force, it's life force that's causing the heart to beat. It is a miracle. But instead of that beautiful ecosystem that we have the ability to create and live from, we're not actively focusing on that as something where we learn, we start to have experiences where we love life so much that we want to continue deepening our relationship to it and start to attract others who value healthy relationship to life, to each other. All the gold in the world, yeah, you could build a bunker and hide out. And I already tried that a long time ago and it didn't work. I literally did. My plan
Out
was,
of gold? Built
well,
a bunker out of gold?
it helped. Yeah, I wish. But I did. It's literally that I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, I just was like, wow, okay, looking around at these systems of the world. And no matter where I look, it was always clear that this is not meant to last. How can we take all these natural resources and just burn it out of this planet and then create all this toxic junk? How is that meant to last? And then why is it even going on in the first place? It's because we have forgotten that we have the ability to value the life force, the miraculous energy that is in and around our being, that everything is made out of, but that for now, so many have forgotten. So this little temporary slip of time where suddenly we forgot that. And here we are trying to remember it. It's fascinating, right? So with all of that said, let's relax. You can close your eyes. Take a few breaths. Relax your body. And whether you are stressed out or not, see if you can activate an internal reminder that no matter what is happening in your life or around the world, there is a beyond intelligent, innate intelligence. There is a miraculous frequency of reality that is the majority. And the more we intentionally choose to embrace the part of us that is like a healthy ecosystem, that is in harmony with great celestial forces, as well as minutely small, because it's happening on all levels, great or small. It's through these two contrasting elements, big, soft, great, small, pain, love, through all of these different contrasts. That is how life either creates new life or evolves from wherever it is at. Meaning, wherever we are at in life, if we are trying to not look around because it feels so stressful, or if we are so focused on who we think we are that we have forgotten what we are, you can get right back to what you are by reminding yourself that when you go unconscious, that's your cue to come back into consciousness or awareness. And it's not just words or thoughts. It's something else that is much more foundational than who we think we are and what we think this world is. It is a living force. It already is the foundation that each of us depend on, whether we know it or not. We are that miracle. And for a little blip in the wheel of time, or what we perceive as time, there's one little blip where we have already crossed impossible odds. everybody alive on this planet has already so far surpassed odds that are just beyond comprehension. And in many ways, by doing that and getting here and being in these bodies, just everything that has gone into that process, so that here we are together right now, focusing on common denominators that we all share, that are the majority of what we all share. It's like everything that we could ever want to be in a place of power, of sovereign realization that life, not only does it have our back, it is our back. It is our spine. Life is everything that we are, and it is everything that this world is, whether you're staring into a little pool of barnacles and snails next to the ocean, or whether you're looking up into a night sky that is clear and getting a feeling that when you're looking at the stars at night, just this feeling of how big it all is, but then maybe having a thought of, well, how do we relate to that? Because we're not that big. We start to tell ourselves, that has nothing to do with who I am or what's going on here. But it's not really like that. Everything that we can see and feel as it pertains to the bigness, the huge scope of reality that is in everybody's view if they can see the night sky. And it's not just above us. There's a planet holding us up here, but wherever that planet ends on the other side, we are still in space. And no matter what belief systems anybody has about what this all appears to be, all of these belief systems can be totally shifted to value this miracle of life, to know ourselves in the image of health, of being so refined in this temple of a body that most, because they don't know better, they abuse it. They don't necessarily regard it as a temple. Most people just don't know what they are, and they're good with that. And more power to them. To even judge that ignorance is bliss, we don't even need to do that. Because that level of perception isn't for everybody. There is rock all beneath our feet everywhere, but crystals are more rare. There are fields and fauna, flora, and diverse microorganisms living everywhere. plants, but only some have flowers. And when it comes to our species, most people, for the most part, are pretty good with where they're at. But there is a growing and emerging crowd of individuals choosing to go beyond what is considered normal and to go through it, even if we're scared, with faith, with openness, trusting that even though we might not know what we are facing, the trust that whatever that is has got our back, because it is our back. It is every part of who and what we are, bar none. And when we make consistent choices to create a situation where we begin to know ourselves as we truly are, that's when the invisible starts becoming visible. That's when the chaos all around us stops affecting us as much, and we feel calm, and we feel in coherence with this miracle of life that we always were, that we are, and that we always will be in the eternal now. And the more that we allow ourselves to expand into all these possibilities, then the solution, you could say, which in this case is a human body and mind and heart, that is all already there. And for those of us who either know there is more, or even if they're not sure how, they are committed to discovering more about why they're here and what this all is. Those are the ones who begin to discover and find all of this out, because we are already the solution. We just forgot it. We already have everything that we could ever need to begin to know this miracle so perfectly, so harmoniously. And we feel this energy that is a miracle. And we realize that the miracle doesn't stop, at least for here now. It's infinite. And so why should we be finite? Why should we ignore the most predominant realities in everybody's life? This great, vast, spacious space filled with celestial bodies. And this animating principle that temporarily we think is who we are. The more we allow ourselves to calmly consider all of these contrasting elements, all of these opposite elements. When we begin to get into coherence with our heart and mind, and then our body starts to interact with this coherence. And just by breathing rhythmically, slowly, and putting a smile on your face and feeling it in your body, whether it's happiness, joy, whatever that smile feels like to you, that is the tools that you have to reshape yourself in the image of what you know to be possible. And this infinite space that is everything, that is everybody. You stop feeling like you're separate from it. And you stop that because you are now experiencing yourself as absolutely connected to it. And just like the physical universe in and around us, that is expanding. And at the same time, it is quickening. When we begin to know that as above, so below, our awareness, spark of life that allows us to perceive reality to whatever degree we are ready for. When we let ourselves be in harmony with what is, then the majority, this great, vast expanse through an ocean of stars that is all in harmony with itself, begins to support and endorse our own personal willingness to be in harmony with it. And if we can continue to have these experiences more regularly, and if we can start sustaining these states of being that are expansive and quickening, and we're connected to it through our breath, through this loving, caring, happy feeling of life that is in our being when we smile. We get to take all of these choices to align ourselves in remembrance of what so many feel is possible. And the minority of individuals on this planet start to become the majority, because we are literally one with everything, and we are becoming more aware of that connection. And we're getting better and better at connecting and staying connected. And so that is the solution We already are the solution. And the more connected we become, the more every solution that we face as a species appears like it's self-evident, because it is. But we just forgot that. But now we are intentionally choosing to remember. And the more we allow ourselves to be in harmony with the prime forces of reality, the expansive and quickening of our life force, in coherence with the life force of the cosmos, of reality, the only reality. As we begin to clear away the parts of us that resist life, parts of us that are afraid to be that big because their mind, thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, and actions are wired so significantly that becoming expansive is almost like a threat to the person who has spent their whole life reinforcing who they think they are, conjured by stress. And so the more we stress out, the more we create an addiction to the feeling of stress that is our body chemistry. And since most are just doing it because it's been so normalized, to go against that flow is something that most don't want to do, because we look at it like it is the biggest threat, and we don't know why, but somehow we know that it's not a threat. It is opening up a window of possibility for us to look through, to begin to perceive how expansive we all already are, and to live here in remembrance of that, in coherence with all, everything, everywhere. And if enough of us make this the habit rather than the stress, if enough of us choose to take the stress addiction that we've essentially unconsciously created in our body, and begin to consciously embrace this solution, this miracle of reality that causes all of these systems of our body to work in tune with themselves, even though we're stressed out. when we learn to trust ourselves as we truly are, not as others see us or that want us to believe. When we know ourselves like that, we are embraced and we love life. We begin to make regular habits of loving our bodies, really recognizing them as a living temple that we are in, and that all the different points and centers of our body represent rooms of a temple, each one having its own possibility to become conscious and in harmony with, and to make habits of knowing and consciously dwelling within every room of this temple. And by experiencing all the different possibilities in it, we choose to become better at doing this. When we begin to feel all of these different plexus centers and universal themes in all of our bodies, our mind, our glands, our organs, our blood, when we get this in tune with our consciousness in a state of love, self-love, when you do that and you have these breakthroughs, it's almost like you don't need to do anything else except for continued deepening your personal relationship to life. And you can get as good at doing that as you want. And when you begin to replace all of the neural networks and pathways of your body that were built unconsciously, stressed out, you get to rebuild all of that and replace new pathways throughout your mind and body that reflect your choice to create a deeper relationship with what you already are. And that's how we build a foundation of self-mastery. So wherever you are, just let yourself be as relaxed as you can. That smile, just like all the Buddha statues. There's so many of them where they're just smiling for no reason. There's versions of every religious figure that treasured integrity with consistency in where the bulk of their attachments come from. When you see all of these beings smiling for no reason, and you begin to emulate that, but not as worship for anything outside of you, you begin to emulate the choice that we can choose to embrace and welcome life, ever evolving, new possibilities of life. Or we could shut it down completely and just act like it doesn't matter or have any significance to what is happening here. Or maybe we're in the middle of that somewhere. And in all reality, you can't mess this up. Everything that happens can be embraced as an expression of the fabric of life, the net of the universal web of life, connected to all. And we have our own place in that. And when we connect back to it, our addiction to stress starts to diminish. The awe and wonder and mystery and love of life becomes the relationship that we value most. So your body's totally relaxed. You're breathing very gently, but deeper. You're smiling. You're feeling your smile. And if you can feel your heartbeat, let that feeling of your smile expand with every beat of your heart. It is both expanding and contracting. And the more you send love out, the more your love comes back to support you. We are energy. We are literally energy in infinite polarities of possibility, of perception, of reality. And we are choosing to balance ourselves out in a world that for now looks kind of off balanced. So just breathe, smile. And if you want to stay in this state, you can hang up. And for everybody who's still here with us, let everything that you resonated with together, this meditation that we're all sharing, really ponder and consider the parts of this that you really resonate with, and make a little habit of reminding yourself that when you go off balance and you catch it, catching it is the reminder that you can get right back into balance. And love yourself, love your body, and even more love the energy that is pulsing through your body, and normalize that. and see what your body chemistry begins to do for your health, your wellness, your stability. And you don't have to answer to anybody. All that you need to answer to is already happening in you. And when you're ready, start creating friction. Get your hands warm. And when they're nice and warm, put the palms of your hands over your eyes. And just relax. You can do tapping on your face if you want. And as you go on your way, remind yourself of everything that happened here. Please like, love, tag, share. Go to my new website, I'm Awake Now What, giving away free issues of my book so you can know my qualifications for why I do this. And I'm really happy just what happened with me and Greg. That was a year ago, and here we are. It's a beautiful thing.
It was just over a year ago. Yeah. Day by day by day by week.
There's more and more. It's going to keep coming. It's exciting.
A lot of good things planned. A lot of good things.
Well, see you guys next week.
Thank you, everybody, for attending, and we will see you next week. Have a great one, guys.